Welcome to the Jumpstart Video Guitar Method, presented in part by Court Guitars, the quick and easy way to learn to play the guitar in the privacy and convenience of your own home.
Hi, I'm Steve Levitt, and welcome to the Jumpstart program. It's intended to provide you with the opportunity to begin playing your guitar immediately. It's not intended to take the place of guitar lessons, but we're hoping it'll be a really useful reference tool. It's a 1-hour video broken up into segments or lessons. So by using the fast forward and rewind buttons on your VCR, you can easily find the lesson that you want to work on. I hope you'll find this video method to be an entertaining way to get you on the road to playing guitar. Okay, let's get started. Let's begin by discussing the features of your guitar. This is one of the two types of acoustic guitar we're going to be talking about. It's known as a classical or perhaps a folk guitar. It's characterized by a slightly wider and shorter neck. There are other differences of volume, tone, resonance, the type of material used in the strings. But either kind of guitar is a fine way to begin playing, and the type of guitar that you end up playing will be dictated by the type of music that you like to play. Using the steel string acoustic, I'm going to illustrate the components of the instrument. The end pin, one of the places where the guitar strap is attached. The bridge, this is the mechanism by which sound is transmitted from the strings into the guitar body. Bridge pins hold the strings in place on the bridge. The saddle is the actual place where the strings rest on the bridge. The pickguard, to some measure, protects the guitar against the strumming of the pick, which might scratch or cause damage to the wood. The sound hole is where the sound comes out of the guitar. Strings, numbered 1 through 6. From the highest to lowest. Fingerboard inlays help you find your way on the neck of the guitar. The neck of the guitar. Frets are the spaces between the fret wires on the guitar. Sometimes these fret wires are also known as frets, which can be confusing. So for our purposes here, when we talk about frets, we'll be talking about the spaces in between the wires. So when I say second fret, for example, we're talking about this space here. Okay? This is the nut. This is the other place where the strings meet the body, neck of the guitar. The headstock and the tuning machines. These tuners raise and lower the pitch of the strings. Electric guitars are, by definition, instruments that are dependent upon exterior amplification to produce the intended sound. There are electronics on the guitar that involves tone, volume, different combinations of the pickups. And there are other sound modification electronics on the amplifier. Electric guitars are available in solid body, semi-hollow body, and hollow body options. Again, your chosen type of music will dictate which kind of guitar is best suited for you. So let's discuss the primary components of the electric guitar. The end pin, the output jack. This is where the guitar is connected by a cord to the amplifier. The bridge and tremolo system. This bridge is one of the places where the strings are connected to the body of the guitar. The tremolo system involves lowering or raising the strings very quickly and then bringing them back onto the right pitch. A full discussion of this is beyond the scope of this video. Please contact a specialist if you're interested. These are pickups. They're actually little magnets. And what they do is pick up, hence the name, the changing magnetic field of the strings as they pass over the magnet. That is transmitted into electrical impulses and changed back into sound in the amplifier. This is a tone control, which controls bass and treble. This is the volume control, controlling the actual volume of the instrument from the instrument itself. Here is a pickup selector switch. Sometimes they're 5-way, sometimes 3-way. Their function is to select different combinations of pickups, say the bridge pickup and the middle pickup, or simply the bridge pickup. Here's the other strap pin for the guitar strap. The neck, fingerboard, the inlays, fingerboard markers that help us find our way around the guitar. Especially on electric guitar, that's important because a lot of things are played high up on the neck. Fret wires, frets. When we speak of the second fret, we'll be talking about the space in between these two fret wires. The nut, the other place the strings actually rest on the neck or body of the guitar. The tree, the headstock, with the tuning machines. These tuning machines are used to raise and lower the pitch of the strings to get them into the proper tune. The correct techniques of guitar playing last a lifetime, and it's always better to learn these techniques at the beginning rather than trying to undo what might become bad habits later on. But certain allowances must be made for the learning process. For example, proper form starts with holding the instrument in the correct position, which would be perpendicular to the body. Classical guitar playing holds the guitar on the left leg. General folk and rock styles tend to use the right leg. This is not a hard and fast rule, and my advice, as usual, is to try them both and see which one is most comfortable for you. Now, if you simply held the guitar like this, you would not be able to see what your fingers are doing. So at the beginning, when you must look down and properly orient your fingers by looking, it is more than permissible to tilt the guitar a little bit so that you can look down and see what's going on. Not so much that it's lying flat on your lap, but a middle position, so that it's tilted a bit, you can see what your fingers are doing, and it's still resting comfortably on your leg. Now let's talk a little bit about different types of picks. Flat picks are, as the name implies, flat. They come in a variety of shapes and thicknesses, from very thin to very thick. They're made either of plastic or of nylon, and they're held between thumb and fingers. Thumb picks fit right over the thumb, and they allow you to strum down on the guitar without actually having to hold on to the pick. This can be very useful for some people. And with the addition of metal or plastic finger picks, which go on right over the fingertips, a very bright metal on metal sound may be achieved. Of course, the same technique may be used without picks, which results in a quieter, more intimate sound. Okay, I just want to talk about a couple of issues important to left-handers. If you're a left-hander and you've got a guitar, you have to make a decision, and that is whether to play the guitar the standard way, that is, right-handed, or whether to turn it around and play it left-handed. Most people who turn the guitar around and play left-handed also switch the strings around so that the heaviest string is up here, as it is on a right-handed guitar. But you need to do more than that. You must adjust the saddle on the bridge and the nut to ensure that your guitar frets, that is, plays accurately. Whichever way you play, your left hand is working at full capacity. The real issue is whether you want your dominant hand to be strumming or chording. Okay, now we've come to tuning. Tuning is difficult. It's probably the most difficult part of learning to play the guitar. So have a little patience, cut yourself a little slack, and in no time you'll be tuning like a pro. Now there are many different kinds of ways of tuning the guitar, but there is a standard guitar tuning. By far, the majority of guitar players play in this standard tuning. So let's begin by tuning our guitars with this guitar in standard tuning. Now, the way you raise or lower the pitch of each string are with these tuning machines. Let me demonstrate for a second. Okay? So we begin, wait a second. There. Now we begin, I will play you each of these 6 pitches, and in turn, turn the correct tuning machine in order to get the pitch so that they match up together. So let's begin with the 6th string, known as low E. That's this tuning machine. The 6th string. If the pitch is lower than this, then you will turn it this way, counterclockwise, to raise the pitch. If it seems too high, turn it clockwise, slowly, until it sounds in pitch with this guitar. Once again, the 6th string, low E. Now we move to the 5th string, the A string. That's this tuning machine. Got it? Now the 4th string, the D string. That's this tuner. Okay, the 3rd string, the G string. This tuner right here. The 2nd string, the B string. and the first string, or high E, the high E string. It's this tuner here. Okay, now there are many times that you won't have this video around and you'll still need to tune your guitar. Now there are many other methods for tuning, so let's discuss a couple of them right here. The tuning fork, made of metal, you strike it on a surface and place it on the headstock or on the body of the guitar, and it sounds a note that you'll tune a string to. In this case, the fifth string, or A. A is a very common note to tune by. So that's the tuning fork. You can also hold it up to your ear and get the sound that way. Don't stick it in your ear, just hold it up next to it. Okay? Now, the harmonica is a fabulous way to tune your guitar, but it can be difficult because it doesn't exactly tell you what note is being played. You'd have to hunt around and find the note. So if you're of that persuasion, you might want to try a pitch pipe, which is like a harmonica. It has specific reeds that tell you what note to play. So for instance, I would blow on this. That's the third string, and I would tune this string to that pitch. Some people have difficulty in hearing that a blown note and a plucked note, so to speak, sound the same. But if you can hear this is the same, then the pitch pipe is an inexpensive and fabulous way to tune your guitar. Somewhat more expensive is a guitar tuner. These come in a lot of different varieties. Two basic. One is specifically a guitar tuner where there's a little microphone right here. You turn it on, place it near the guitar, turn this little dial to the appropriate string, and it will read on this dial how close or far away you are in pitch to that specific note. What you want to do is get the dial right in the middle to where it either says 0 or 440 sometimes. And then you switch this dial for every string. You must switch this dial as you switch strings or it will not read the string for you. So remember that. The other kind of tuner, somewhat more expensive, is a chromatic tuner, which simply reads the note you're playing. That's very useful, but again, you have to know which note you want to play. So you need to know that this is an A string and a D string and a G string to use the chromatic tuner. If you have a piano at home, here's a graph that'll show you how to tune your guitar to the piano. Notice that 5 of the 6 notes on the guitar are below middle C. So in turn that they are 2 E's below middle C, 2 A's below middle C, D below middle C, G below middle C, B below middle C, and the E above middle C. Now, if you have none of these devices around, you can still tune your guitar. There's a method known as relative tuning, because although we may not have concert pitch, the guitar is still in tune with itself, in related tuning. It's a very simple method, and let me show it to you now. We begin by assuming that one of our strings is correct. For convenience, we will assume that the 6th string, low E, is at correct pitch, and we will proceed to tune the rest of the strings to that pitch. This is how we do it. We take a finger, could be 1 or 2, place it on the 5th fret of the 6th string. That should sound the same as the open or unfretted 5th string. So the 6th string at the 5th fret should sound the same as the open or unfretted 5th string. If it does not sound the same, you will adjust the 5th string. We never tune the string that's being fretted. That's how we remember where we are. So play the 6th string, play the 5th string. If they don't sound the same, cross your right hand over and adjust the pitch of the 5th string. Now we proceed on. The 5th fret of the 5th string equals the open, unfretted 4th. If it is not the same, cross over and adjust the tuning. The 4th string at the 5th fret should sound the same as the open or unfretted 3rd. If they do not, you reach over and adjust the 3rd string. This is kind of a difficult reach. If you find that difficult, you may come over with your left hand. The problem is you'll have to do kind of tuning by elimination. Tune it a little bit, turn it up or down a little, come back and hit it until it reaches the right pitch. Now here's the catch. It's the 3rd string 4th fret that equals the 2nd open unfretted string. So 3rd string at the 4th fret, not 5th, at the 4th fret equals the open 2nd. And then you go back to the 5th fret of the 2nd string to equal the open unfretted 1st string. So now we're ready to begin picking individual notes on the guitar. As previously stated, the 5 open unfretted notes on the guitar are E, A, D, G, and B. Let's go through that on the strings from high to low, meaning from 1st string to 6th string. 1st string open is E. 2nd string B. 3rd string is G. 4th string is D. The 5th string is A. And the 6th string is E. Now, as you place your fingers on the frets, moving up the neck, different pitches are achieved. In fact, if we move our fingers fret by fret from 0 up to 11, we will play what is known as the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale includes every note in our 12-tone music system. So let's do that on the 1st string now. Play along with me while I do this, starting at open 0 position. Now when we play on the 12th fret, we're starting a new cycle. We're back on the E note. So between 0 and 11 is one cycle of the chromatic scale. Probably more familiar to you is the major scale, the scale that you sing when you sing the Do, Re, Mi song. So the way we do that is to take certain of the notes away from the chromatic scale, and what we are left with is the major scale. The major scale can be thought of as a phone number, the pattern involved. The number is 221-2221, area code 0. So that number again is 221-2221. And let's see how we would play that again on the first string. So watch closely here. We start at area code 0, and then we go up 2 frets. 2 frets. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Now notice how I'm placing my fingers, slightly rounded, so that I'm pressing the string down on the fingertip. Not flat like this, and not against the pad of the finger, but right up on the fingertip. A nice curved position of the fingers allows for much freer movement on the fretboard. Now let's try that major scale again on the 6th string, starting at 0. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Using the 2-2-1-2-2-2-1 system, you can play the major scale in 5 different keys. Keys meaning tonal centers. In E, A, D, G, and B. Try them now on each of the strings. I want to talk briefly here about tablature. It's a written system for representing notes on the guitar. If you'll refer to the graph here just for a second, you'll see that it's composed of 6 lines. Each line is a string on the guitar, and it's set up this way so that the first string, the highest string, is up on top, 6th string is on the bottom. What you see with tablature is a series of numbers, and they represent where you're supposed to place your fingers, which fret, so that if there was a number 2 on the 2nd string, you would place a finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. If you were writing it down and you wish to have a note on the 5th string, 3rd fret, you would write a 3 on the 5th line, and that would give you this note. Okay? Okay. Let's make a little bit of music here. By using our single note system, we'll play 2 strings at a time. And we'll do we'll call it blues lick number 1. It involves playing the 5th and 4th strings at the same time. What we'll do is we'll play the 5th and the 4th strings together, meanwhile placing the first finger, our index finger, on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Try that now. It should sound like this when you play the 5th and 4th strings together. The second position of this lick will involve putting the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And it should sound like this when you play the 5th and 4th strings together. And then back to the first position. And then the second. When you put them together, playing each one 2 times, this is what it sounds like. Now watch closely and try it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Good. Now we will try the same movement, but done with the 3rd and 4th strings. So you'll place your first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and play 3rd and 4th. It should sound like this. And the second position would sound like this. So let's try this lick again now on the 3rd and 4th strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, and now let's go back to the 4th and 5th strings, doing the same lick. Okay, now we're going to try this in one more place, on the 5th and 6th strings. So we would place our first finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and play 5 and 6. And the second position would be 5th string, 4th fret. And this is what it would sound like. First position and second position. Now let's play this lick using the 5th and 6th strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once more, let's go back to the first way we did it on the 4th and 5th strings. Ready? This may be done with the thumb or with the flat pick. Now the trick here is to move smoothly from one position to the next, both up and down the neck and this way on the neck. So moving from the first position to the second, this way, and the 3 different ways that we play the blues lick. To 3 and 4, back to 4 and 5, and then at last to 5 and 6. And back to 4 and 5. Now I'm going to play an entire cycle of this blues lick. So follow along and play with me. Start at 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, music is broken up into little chunks of time known as measures or bars. The way we divide up this blues lick is by dividing it up into bars. Each time that I go is one single bar. So we can see that this blues lick is comprised of 12 bars of equal length, arranged this way. 4 in the beginning on 4 and 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Followed by 2 bars on the 3 and 4. And then back 2 more bars of the 4 and 5. Followed by 2 bars of 5 and 6. And ending with 2 more bars on 4 and 5. Now let's talk about chords. Chords are groups of 3 or more notes played simultaneously. On the guitar, chords are made in specific and unique positions that must be memorized. In order to play chords, we employ a triangulation system consisting of string, fret, and finger. We number the strings 1 through 6, the frets are numbered 1 through whatever, and the fingers are numbered 1 through 4, beginning with the index finger. So when I say 4th string, 2nd fret with the 1st finger, this would be the correct position. Now to make chords, let's make the A chord. We start by placing our 1st finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. 1st finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger then goes on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. Then all strings are played simultaneously. If you're referring to the diagram is showing you the guitar like so. And you will see 3 circles covering the 3 strings, 4, 3, and 2, on the 2nd fret. It may look as though it's straight across like this, but in practice, we must slant our fingers slightly in order to get them all into the fret. So once again, 1st finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and 3rd finger, 2nd string, 2nd fret. And then they're all strummed. Now a word about thumb position. What's required in making chords, just like making single notes, is a pinch between the thumb and finger. So you want your thumb in a comfortable position in back, not parallel to the neck, but rather perpendicular to it. And a good pinch between thumb and fingers. Your chords will sound perhaps a little fuzzy at first, so you must have a little patience. It will take a little time to develop not only the strength, but the calluses on the tips of your fingers in order to effectively press down and make clear chords. So let's move on now to the next chord, the D chord. The D chord, a 3-finger chord, begins with the 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. The 2nd finger then goes to the 1st string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger to the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And then the strings are strummed down. With the D chord, you do not strum the 6th string. The reason is it's not in the chord. It's not one of the 3 notes that it takes to make the D chord. This is an important concept. Not all chords use all 6 strings. So once again, the D chord. 1st finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger, 1st string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. To strum down, we start at the 5th string and strum. Now try and go back to the A chord. And strum that down. All 6 strings. Good. Now let's go on to the 3rd chord, E7th. A description of what makes a chord a 7th chord is beyond the scope of this video. But let me just say that the 7th chords, in general, add a 4th note to the 3 notes of a major chord. In fact, it looks easier on the guitar because it's only a 2-finger chord. And this is how we make it. 1st finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. All 6 strings are strummed, and it sounds like this. Okay. A word about strumming. There's many different ways to strum the guitar. You can strum with your thumb, with fingertips brushing down, or with a pick, flat pick, thumb pick, whatever. But strumming has a lot to do with the fact that music is broken up into little chunks of time called measures. Measures the fundamental length of music. And strum patterns are formulated usually to be one measure in length. Now we'll start with a couple of very simple strumming patterns. For more complex patterns, consult a specialist in your area. Now probably the most simple strum pattern would be to strum down on every beat of the measure. So if the measure was 4 beats long, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've just played 2 measures of music. And you noticed I started counting at 1, went to 4, and then began counting again. Each measure was 4 beats in length. Now, let's try and do 4 measures, 2 measures of A, and 2 measures of D. It would sound like this. 2, 2, and then I would change to the D chord. Second measure. That was 4 measures in length. All right. Now, let's try and put that together with all 3 chords. 2 measures apiece. We'll play 2 measures of A, 2 measures of D, and 2 measures of E7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second measure. Now we move to the D chord. And now we move to the E7. All right. Now, one of the fundamental problems in strumming patterns is changing chords in the proper way and in the proper time. Now, you may have found that at the moment that you want to switch from A to D, that a noticeable pause occurred. That will happen. You must have patience with yourself on these. One way that you can cut that pause down is to begin the chord change a little bit early. Let me show you. For example, if we're moving from the A chord to the D chord, I will change a little bit early in the measure, say halfway through. So here's 2 measures of A and 2 measures of D with the change occurring a little early. Here's the first measure. Here's the second measure. I take off that last strum, and right on time, I'm on the D chord. So it is better to begin a little bit early than to have that pause in between measures. Try and keep on the pulse of the song. Now we're going to put all of this together and play a song. The way we'll do that, we'll break this up into sections. We'll take our chords, we'll take our strum, we'll take our blues lick, and we'll take the words, and make a song called the 3-Chord Blues. So let's begin with strumming the song. Songs have a definite structure, and in this case we can talk about the structure without referring to verses or words or anything, by talking about bars. So this song will be in a 12-bar, 12-measure format, and it will be broken up this way. We'll have 4 measures of A, followed by 2 measures of D, followed by 2 measures of A. That makes 8. Then 2 measures of E7, and the last 2 measures will be A again. And then the entire structure will repeat. And it will sound like this. 1 measure, 2 measures, 3 measures. Here we go, changing to D, and B. Then we go back to A. Now we go to E7. Back to A. That can be thought of as one cycle of the song. That entire cycle will repeat several times. Now you noticed I dropped one of the strums before each chord change. It's an effective way to make sure that you stay on the pulse of the song. Now, if you remember our blues lick, this is how we would place that in here. The blues lick, the first one that we learned, the 4th and 5th string, corresponds to the A chord. The second one we learned, the 3rd and 4th strings, corresponds to the D chord. And the last one we learned, the 5 and 6 strings, corresponds to the E7th chord. So what we do is place the lick in the same context as the chords, and it would sound like this. Once again, let me mention, 4 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 2 bars of A, 2 bars of E7, 2 bars of A. Using the blues lick, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now let's see how we might put all of this together into a song format. We would begin, perhaps, by using the blues lick once through. Then using the chords, we would strum a verse. I'll sing some words over the chords while we're strumming, so you can see how that might sound. Following that, we might go back to the blues lick one more time, and that would be a very simple way of doing a little blues song. So let's begin that way. We begin with the blues lick, then we'll go to the strum, then I will play an entire cycle of strums without singing so that you can insert the blues lick there while I'm playing the chords. Right? And then we will end the song after that. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the 3-chord blues. 3 chords are all I know. I got them 3-chord blues. 3 chords are all I know. If you stayed with me all the way through the song, fabulous. Good job. If not, rewind. Try it again. Keep on trying until the chords and the blues lick flow very smoothly from one position to the next. It's good to play every day. Try and set aside a time every day to play. It doesn't have to be long. In fact, at the beginning, 5 to 15 minutes a day is probably as much as you should play. It's counterproductive to play until you get blisters on your fingers. It takes you out of the game for a few days, and it's probably more important for your muscles now that you play every day rather than that you play a few marathon sessions. So don't cram, don't store it all up for one day a week. Try and play every day. When you're practicing, practice each thing that you are practicing slowly and carefully and completely. Don't cut corners, and don't assume that you're going to be able to come back and fit something in. Practice it slowly from the beginning to the end. Now, there are a lot of places that we can go from here, and let me just illustrate a few of them. For example, lead playing involves the playing of single notes. And here's a lead, for example, that might work with our blues song. Another thing that you'll be getting into probably is bar chords. There are two basic ways of making chords. One, you stay in the same place and change positions. This is what we did with the A, D, and E seventh chord. The other way is you stay in the same position and change places. It's the essence behind bar chords, and it sounds like this. A third thing might be arpeggios. Arpeggios are strums that are drawn out by playing with the individual fingers so that every note of the strum is heard individually. It would sound like this. Of course, there are many more things in store. And, these are just a few. I hope that this illustration has been useful for you in determining where you might want to go from here. By now you should be well on your way to playing guitar. Remember, everybody learns at his or her own pace. Developing new skills takes time. Try not to get frustrated. Continue practicing what you've learned. The purpose of playing guitar is for fun, for your own enjoyment. To further your studies, well, there's a great variety of printed material, guitar methods, books, and probably fabulous teachers in your very own area. Scope it out. Talk to your friends who already play guitar. Try and get up a study group with other people who are learning to play. It's much more fun when you learn together. And look for future Jumpstart videos. Methods designed by musicians, for musicians, by Chord Guitars. For Chord Guitars and everybody here, this is Steve Levitt, hoping you've enjoyed these lessons as much as I've enjoyed presenting them to you. Until next time.